Okay. If you follow me on Instagram, if you read the title, you already know what this video is going to be about. I honestly even debated making this video just because, well, number one, I know Alondra watches my videos, so I know Alondra's gonna see this video, and I know it's just going to make her, she's already sad, she's still sad, but it's just gonna probably make her emotional, make her, you know, think about everything. So that's like the big reason. But also, I don't know, I just hate the idea that I'm even making this video. Like, I hate that I have to make this video. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, then it's probably a big shock to you. But unfortunately, Wiggles, who was our pug, she did pass away. I'm hoping I can get through this without crying. I don't even know where to start. Okay, if you don't know, or maybe you knew that we had Wiggles, but you just didn't know like everything. So Wiggles was our pug. She's so beautiful. I've had her since she was a puppy. Got her flown in to me and everything. So I've had her all 14 years of her life. She was born in October, so this October she would have been 15 years old. So she's lived a long, amazing life. So it's one of those things where we knew it was gonna come eventually, because, you know, she's 14 years old, and for a pug, that's really good. That's really old. I think most people say like 12 is like pushing it for them, but she was 14, almost 15. So we've always had, well, I've always had Wiggles. She was my dog. I had her before Edom. But anyway, so I guess just like that real quick, so you like know her age and stuff like that. And she's been with me through everything. I mean, we lived in California, Minnesota, Florida, and in Texas. So she's lived all over, and she was the best dog. I'm gonna cry. She was truly the best dog. Everyone that knew her just loved her. I keep wanting to say, as you guys know, but there could be like new people on my channel, so you don't know. But Edom and I both used to work for Delta Airlines, and then, you know, now we don't anymore. Now Edom works for another airline. But we traveled a lot. I mean, a lot more back in the day. And so we would always like have people, you know, babysit Wiggles and take care of her. Like, if we couldn't find anyone to take care of her, you know, while we were going out of town or something, you know, I would put her like in a doggy daycare, like in a kennel. Is that what it's called? So yeah, I would do that. But I mean, everyone that ever babysat her, ever watched her, just absolutely loved her. And I'm not just saying that because like she's my dog and I think she's amazing. I know she's amazing. She really was the best dog. But it's just literally, people would just be like, oh my God, like would just fall in love with her, just so in love with her. And I am so grateful to everybody that gave Wiggles love and, you know, would watch her, babysit her for us, and just, you know, treated her with love. Like, honestly, it was so sweet. And I mean, my mom and my stepdad at the time, like, they fell in love with her so much they got 2 pugs. So but yeah, she just, my Wiggles, my baby. So it's been tomorrow it'll be exactly 2 weeks. So July 21st is when Wiggles went to doggy heaven. And like I said, like, she's 14, so we knew the end. We knew it was coming, but how everything happened, we just were not expecting it to happen this way, so fast and so sudden. So if you followed me on Instagram, then you would have known we were out of town. So we were out of town for 5 or 6 days. We went to Virginia to go visit my mom, and one of our neighbors, who's actually, like, she used to be a vet tech, she does all of Wiggles like grooming for us. So she's been doing like her nails and like her baths for a year now, but she's been doing like cutting her nails since we moved in like to our house, so for like a good 3 years. So Wiggles knows her really well, and there's a couple of times where we would go out of town And she would come to our house and take Wiggles potty and all of that and feed her and make sure, you know, she was good. So she did that for us this time as well. She came in every day. She, you know, looked after her, took her potty, fed her, all of that. And then, you know, she would give me updates like, okay, Wiggles, like this is how she's doing, whatever. So on the last day that we were in Virginia, she had sent me a message and she was like, oh, it was really hot in your house. I don't know, like we got the Nest and it like changed the temperature to like 79 degrees, and we always keep our house at like 70. So I don't know, it was like a setting, I guess, like on the Nest that it would just like automatically change. Anyways, we got it fixed. So she was like, yeah, it's pretty warm, and she seems to be walking so-so. She's not walking as good. And I had to carry her to go outside. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's just the heat. You know, because it was like 100 degrees outside. Like it's been over 100, you know, in Texas. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just the heat. Like, please bump it to like 69, 70. And, you know, we're going to be home tomorrow. So anyways, we ended up getting home. Wiggles was knocked out when we got home. And, you know, obviously we said hi to her and stuff like that. And she seemed, I guess, better. I mean, we did get home late at night, but you know, and she was asleep. But that day, like the rest of the day, she told me like she was doing better. And I was just like, okay, good. So it must have just been, you know, just because it was just so hot. So the next day, which is Wednesday, Wiggles was like not walking. And I kept trying to like pick her up and her feet would just slide out from underneath her. Now I will say Wiggles has not been walking good since the winter time, and I kept saying I have so much guilt. I've really been beating myself up this past 2 weeks, like really bad. But since the winter, she has not been walking good. She's been like really stiff when she's been walking, and it's obvious that she has not been walking good. But I just kept saying like, oh, it's the winter, it's the cold. Like, you know how like the cold makes like your bones stiff? So I just kept saying that. And I noticed too, her tail was down a lot. It would go up every now and then, but it would go down more than it would go up. And if you guys know pugs, they have, you know, the really cute curly up tail. And her tail wasn't really doing that. And I just thought like old age. That next day, you know, while we were home, Wednesday, she just like was not able to stand. She was not able to walk. I had to like literally carry her outside. And also too, I woke up that morning because she was crying so loud, like howling, crying. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So like I get up and I'm like, Wiggles, like what's going on? And she's just like crying. And I'm like, well, maybe you have to go potty. And Wiggles doesn't cry. She doesn't even bark. Like Wiggles makes no noises besides like snoring when she's sleeping. So I had to like carry her outside because she could not walk. And I'm like, like maybe like she just woke up stiff. You know what I mean? So I noticed that she didn't poop. She just peed, but she wanted to come inside. So I brought her inside. And then she literally just went to her water and like food bowl and she just laid there. She would not get up. And I was like, dang, like what's going on? Like, you know, maybe she's just really tired. So I don't know how much longer goes by. Not that much long. Probably like an hour goes by. And I'm just checking on her and I noticed she's laying on top of something. So I go to move her and she ended up pooping and she was just laying on top of her poop. And I was just like, this is not good. Amelia woke up, so I had to put him back to sleep, and I'm trying to remember where I was at. She went to the bathroom on herself, and I think that's where I left off at. And basically, I feel like most people know, like when a dog does that, that's meaning it's not good, right? Like they're at the end. So I was freaking out. So I contacted the lady that watched Wiggles because she used to be a vet tech. And I was just like, you know, she's crying all day. She's not walking. She went to the bathroom on herself. And she was telling me that the day before that she was pretty sure Wiggles like peed and she cleaned it up. But she wasn't sure if it was like pee or water because it was like right by where her food is, which Wiggles never lays there. And you know, that day Wiggles was like literally laying by her food and her water bowl the whole day and would not get up and leave from that area. So I moved because I had just bought her like a mat. So I moved the mat and underneath it like reeked of pee. So I cleaned it up and I was like, oh yeah, so she definitely peed herself. So that happened the day before. So I was like, man, what is going on? Because Wiggles never has potty accidents. Like once in a blue moon, yes, but like she peed, you know, the day before, and then now she's pooping herself. Like what is going on? And she was also breathing really heavy. Like you could just see her stomach like like contracting like really big. Like she was working really hard to breathe. And then she was also making the like weirdest noises as well. I have video of it. I started recording her because I was like, what is going on? So yeah, it was just like very like different. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, that I just instinctively was like, I need to record her. So anyways, the lady came back over, she took a look at her and she was just like, I don't understand what happened. Like she took like such a turn for the worse. Like she was not this bad. She was, you know, like having her troubles walking, and she's been telling me too since she's been like giving her baths and stuff, like her hips are not good, like her hips are going. And I was like, yeah, I figured, because, you know, once I kept saying like, oh, it's just winter, this is why she's walking funny. But obviously once we got into spring, I was like, all right, so it's not winter, it's just old age. But yeah, so she had already kind of like told me like about her hips, and but you know, she said that she was not that bad. So she was like, I think you honestly should call the vet and get her seen, because this is not good. She's not looking good. So the next day then, which was Thursday, I called the vet, you know, and I told them like, I don't even know how to start this conversation. I don't know what to do, because I've always been so scared. Like I don't want to put her down before her time, if that makes sense, because like what if she snaps out of it? Like what if, like, you know, I put her down and she's not like, and she is okay. So yeah, I called and they said that they basically do a quality of life check. So they would do a quality of life check, and then the vet would let me know, and she said she would be brutally honest and let me know like what she thinks. And I need that. Like I need someone to be brutally honest with me, like in like that situation. So I made the appointment for the following day, Friday. I made it for like nighttime, that way Edom and I could go. And then on Thursday, Wiggles was walking a little bit better. She didn't have any potty accidents. And I should say too, Wiggles had no problem eating. She was eating totally fine. We did, well actually Alondra did have to hand feed her, but like as soon as she got food, like she was chomping it down like a champ, like no problem. Like if you know pugs love their food. So she had no problem eating. But also like in the midst of this, my dad and my stepmom were supposed to come to town that weekend. Like they had already planned to come to town. And so my dad was like, well, we can cancel. But I was just like, you know what? I think you guys should still come, because if Wiggles does go to doggy heaven, like you guys will be here. I think it'll be like a good distraction, help with Alondra, because I know she's gonna need it, you know? So they did come to town on Friday, and then that afternoon or evening, we took Wiggles. But at first it was just my dad and I that took Wiggles to the vet, because Alondra, very emotional. And so like I didn't want to leave her to take Wiggles to the vet, but like Wiggles is like, you know, she's my first baby. She's my baby, you know, like I was not gonna have Edom take her, you know, like I had to be there. But Alondra was just really upset and she needed one of us, so Edom stayed to be with her. Because, you know, I didn't sugarcoat anything with Alondra. I didn't want her to think in her head that she's just gonna go to the doctor, she's gonna be okay and come home. I wanted her, I guess, to like plan for the worst, just to be safe, but also like I just want to tell the truth to my kid. Like I don't want to sugarcoat something like this serious, you know? And I think Alondra, I know Alondra is old enough and more mature enough to understand these things. So anyways, you know, she said goodbye to Wiggles. I took her to the vet. I will say the vet was really nice. The staff was really nice, but I was irritated because we were there for over 2 hours. And it was just a lot of like, they're here and then we're waiting. And then we're here and then we're waiting. And so it's it's like we said bye like 4 or 5 times to Wiggles, and every time was just getting like harder and harder. So anyways, I'm kind of jumping ahead. So anyways, we go to the appointment. She does the check on Wiggles, and she basically told me that she had no muscle mass in her back legs, that like all of the muscles were gone. She like moved her fur, and you could actually see like how skinny her legs were, and she had no range of motion. Like the back leg should be able just to go like straight up, you know, like this is the back leg, it should be able to do that. Wiggles went like to here, like no range of movement at all whatsoever. Like she could not move them. She still had like feeling in her feet, so like if you would touch them, you know, she would move. So she still had feeling in her feet, but she just had no range of motion. And she said that her back, like, so it would go and then it would curve up. So like this is her butt, it would like curve up, and that means she's holding a lot of pain and tension there, and that is why her tail was down, which just makes me feel like I just feel guilty, because like she's been in pain for so long and I didn't even realize. And you know, dogs can't talk to you, they can't like verbally tell you. And I just feel like maybe I was just so selfish, because like maybe I knew, like subconsciously I knew, and I just didn't want to see it, and that's why I made excuses. I don't know. I just feel so bad that she was in like all of this pain, and I didn't see it. I mean, I saw it, like I saw changes, but anyway, so yeah, she told me that she could put Wiggles on painkillers to help with the pain for her back legs, but it would just essentially be prolonging her life. And that cough that Wiggles was doing, she said that more than likely it was like cancer, but she would have to do like x-rays and imaging to like really see what it is, and then from there we would have to do like a game plan. But she also said that, you know, her labored breathing, she was really working hard to breathe, which is not normal. It's another sign that she's in pain. And I showed her the videos of her crying and the howling, and she was just like, yeah, you know, she told me like she's ready, like, you know, you could be doing all of this, but it's literally just to try to prolong her life. And she's like, she's 14, almost 15, she's lived a great life, like it would just be for me, right? Like for me to selfishly like still hold on to her. So when she said all that, that's when I knew it's like what I had to do. So I called Iram to tell him like this is the situation, and Alondra obviously could hear me, and she was crying, and she wanted to come. She wanted to be there with Wiggles. And now this is something that we kind of like debated on, like I don't know, but just hearing her, she's like, I need to be there, I need to be with Wiggles, and I wasn't gonna deny her that. So we let her come. So Iram got in the car, and Emilio stayed with my stepmom. So those two got in the car, and I mean the vet is really close to our house, thankfully. So they came, and you know, they were able to be there with Wiggles and say goodbye to Wiggles. But it just killed me though, because when they took Wiggles to the back to do the IV, I heard her scream bloody murder. And I guess she was like freaking out. So they had to come in the room, and they're like, is it okay if we give her, I don't know what they gave her, like the name of the medicine, but they had to give her like relaxers, like anxiety. They had to give her anxiety medicine to like, to drug her up, to calm her down, because she was like freaking out. And that just like killed me, because like the last thing I want is her to like panic or to freak out. And you know, she did. And then finally when they got the IV into her and everything like that, and they brought her back, she was so drugged because of the like relaxing medication. And then they gave us like Hershey's Kisses that we could give to her, like and they let us just spend time with her, and then whenever we were ready, we just push a button, and then they would come in, and the vet would give her the stuff. And but yeah, that's the part where it took forever, because like, she came in and I told her like, okay, this is, we're going to go ahead and go through with it. So then, she had to give me the paperwork. I had to sign all this paperwork, and then I had to go and pay. And then, Alondra got there obviously, and she was crying and everything. So they're like, yeah, go ahead, take your time, say goodbye. And then when they had came back, they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and do our IV. But when they took her back to do the IV, she was gone for like a good 30 plus minutes. Then when they brought her back, excuse me, they said, take your time, give her the Hershey's Kisses, like, say goodbye to her. Honestly, they didn't even tell us to give her Hershey's Kisses. They gave us a jar full of Hershey's Kisses. We did not know they were for Wiggles. We thought the Hershey's Kisses were for us, because we were just like, why are we getting Hershey's Kisses? We were confused. Alondra even ate one because she was like, can I have a Hershey's Kiss? I'm like, sure, have it. We didn't realize until afterwards they were for Wiggles. So then, of course, I got upset that I never got to give her chocolate, that she never had chocolate. Oh my God. So anyways, like, all of that was a lot of wait. Like, after we rang the doorbell, rang the bell, we waited like another 30 minutes for like the vet. So it was just constantly like having our time, hugging her, like saying goodbye. Like, I wish they would have told us, like, this is what's gonna happen now. Like, we're gonna take her back, we're gonna do our IV, then we're gonna bring her back to you, and then the vet will come and do, I wish they would have explained it more. It wasn't really explained. All so nice. So I guess really that's all we could hope for. But it was a lot, for 2 hours, you know what I mean? And then also too, like, the days leading up to the appointment was like a lot of anticipation, like, oh my God, like, is this really happening? It was just a very weird, bizarre thing. So anyways, the doctor came in and did that, and it was so quick. I think it was like 30 seconds. She was like, she's gone. And I'm just like, what? Like, it just happened so fast. Hearing Alondra scream when the doctor said that she was gone. Hearing her scream, seeing her scream, literally watching your child's heart break. It was so devastating because I was trying to be so strong for Alondra, but inside I was dying. Wiggles, that was my first baby. Like, ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted a pug, and I always said I would name her Wiggles. I always asked, every Christmas and birthday, I always asked for a pug. And Wiggles was like that dream come true. She was just everything. And she was seriously the best dog. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's basically everything. I might have missed something, I don't know, but it was just something we were not prepared for at all. Like, we just were gone on vacation, and literally we came home and we had 3 days with her, and now she's gone. I mean, I knew, I knew she was 14. It was coming, but I just, obviously I never expected it to come as soon as it came. I just always was like, yeah, it's like, I know it's gonna happen, right? We all die eventually. But I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna be probably like a year, 2 years from now. Like, I just never had it in my mind it was gonna be this soon. And then also right when we get back from vacation, like, I just was not. It's just been really hard. And then I ended up having headaches like that whole weekend. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I had and Tuesday I had excruciating headaches. If you guys know this about me, sore throats and headaches are two things I cannot handle. I'm the biggest wimp with them. But I had the most excruciating headaches. Tylenol was not helping. And my stepmom and Enam were like, you're dehydrated. Like, I literally was just crying all day, every day. And I was just like kicking myself. Like, just this guilt was just eating at me like all weekend. just literally consuming me, just like tearing me down. And I wasn't like drinking water, I wasn't drinking liquids, like anything. And they're like, you're probably just dehydrated, that's why you have the headaches. And then on Monday night, I ended up having 102 fever. So I mean, I had no sore throat, no congestion, nothing. Literally just like Monday night, got 102 fever, and then it went into Monday. No, I'm sorry, it went into Tuesday. It started Monday night and it went into Tuesday, and I got up to like 101, but then it finally broke. So off and on all day Tuesday I had a fever, and then it finally broke. But I just think all of that, I just think with all the emotions of it, I just think that's how I got a fever. I don't know, but no one else in the family ended up with a fever or got sick. It was just me. So I don't know. That's why I haven't uploaded any videos. I uploaded I think 2 videos before I went to Virginia. Then when we came back, I was fully trying to edit and upload again, but obviously everything with Wiggles, and then everything with Wiggles happened, and then I got sick. And now I'm trying to get everything ready because school starts for us next week. So I know, I just feel like a broken record, always being behind with videos. But I also didn't want to just upload a video without, like, I guess doing this video. But yeah, so that's what happened with our Wiggles. She's in doggy heaven, and it's been hard. It's definitely been hard. Like I said, like tomorrow will be 2 weeks, but it still doesn't even feel real. I mean, we still have her bed out. We still have her dog bowls out. I just, it breaks my heart to like look at them, and I keep looking over at her bed hoping to see her, and she's not there. But I also, like, it breaks my heart to see them and see them empty, but I also don't know how it's gonna feel to remove everything. So I don't know. I mean, obviously just going through the motions of grief, and obviously grief is just different. Some days you have highs and some days you have lows. But anyways, I'm gonna end it because I wanted this to be like a quick video, and obviously I don't know how to do quick videos. So thank you to everyone for all your sweet messages. I got a ton of sweet messages from you guys on Instagram, and you guys commented, and I know you guys loved Wiggles too. I know you guys would always ask me, how's Wiggles? How's Wiggles? Like, where's Wiggles? And I'd be like, oh, she's here, you know, she just sleeping. Homegirl just slept all day. That's all she did was sleep. And that's the other thing that the doctor told me, is that she was sleeping so much, because she was like, how is she sleeping? And I'm like, she sleeps all day. I'm like, well, she's a pug. She slept a lot anyways, but she was like sleeping more. Like literally there'd be some days that I would have to wake her up to make her go potty, because she literally did not like wake up. She just slept. And she said that's because she was trying to conserve her energy, because it was going to be a lot of energy for her to get up just to even walk. So, but I know you all like cared about Wiggles, and I know you guys loved Wiggles. So thank you. Thank you for showing all your love and support to Wiggles throughout all of these years and these past 2 weeks. I really, really, really appreciate it. We appreciate it. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just end it here, because I know this video is longer than I anticipated. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.